Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Campbell Thompson. I'm the independent chair of the Adult and Child Protection Committees, and it falls on me just to offer some closing remarks to today's event. And first and foremost, can I just say thank you to the excellent speakers who have presented to us. And thank you too for your own attendance and for your participation. And thanks for those who made sense of it all through facilitating, and overall, Val, for the arrangements that have been put in place. It's very much appreciated. I was asked a couple of months ago to give an update on my perspective in relation to the review, or a bit of a review of the Adult and Child Protection Committees and public protection in general. And I found some strengths, and I'm not going to say weaknesses, but I found some challenges. The strengths, if I may touch on, and you've heard about many of them today already in relation to the inspection, in relation to data, and so on and so forth. But for me, one of the key strengths that I find across the partnership are the staff, the excellent staff that work within Aberdeen City right across the partnership. They're innovative, professional, compassionate, and absolutely committed to doing the right thing. A couple of weeks ago, I found myself, I didn't actually think I would ever find myself doing this, but I visited a nursery in the Links hub in Seaton. And I was so impressed by the work that I know is being led by Eleanor and Fiona in relation to that early intervention with young children and how that will impact in relation to their families. And I was so impressed with the absolutely committed staff who were working there. And that's only but one example. We could spend the whole afternoon talking about so many examples of excellent work by all our teams. Secondly, I've always been an advocate of the strength of partnership that there is within Aberdeen City. In fact, I would extend that further to within the North East. For me, it's as strong as anywhere in the country. And there are many people who look in the North East for examples as to how they would wish to go about their business. And I think, if I may, we've heard many examples today in relation to the strength of partnership, the outcome of the inspection. But you'll have to focus, many of you, on the events of last weekend, where the eyes of the world looked on the northeast of Scotland and saw a strength of partnership that delivered Operation Unicorn. And for me, that's an example that's in a worldwide lens, but on a daily basis, we see that strength. And the final part for me is governance. We know our business, and albeit we always strive to improve, that whole issue of continuous improvement is at the very forefront of our minds, then we do know our business, and that governance, I think, too, is another strength, albeit we will never, ever become complacent. And I think that permeates not only through the statutory organisations, but the voluntary organisations as well. People in communities know what the LOIP is. They know what we are collectively striving to achieve. And I think that's a real strength. In relation to the challenges, not weaknesses, I think it would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the huge demands that are placed upon our staff and the reduced capacity to deliver huge expectations that the public actually have. And when I think of that, I think of the day job itself that individuals do, notwithstanding us just coming through the impact of COVID, moving through just now a cost of living crisis, a war in Europe, in Ukraine, and the impact of the displaced persons and the challenges that the public sector face, not least the health and social care, who are facing absolutely huge demands. And I think sometimes we do well to remind ourselves that it's the same staff that are delivering the frontline response. It's a staff that we are looking to implement the prevent strategy. It's the same staff who we're using to consult upon any changes and whether or not we implement them or otherwise. And we've talked about learning reviews. It's the same staff who do the learning and then subsequently implement the change. And all I would say is that I'm very conscious of the challenges that brings to all of us. And I think we have to be very conscious and aware of that moving forward. And as we move forward to the potential of a national care service, and indeed the delivery of ongoing strategic plans, and projects, I wonder if I could maybe take 4 simple thoughts that I think are key and should be in the forefront of our mind as we move forward. The first is we must ensure that we continue to deliver excellent outcomes for people, individuals, or service users who are within our communities aligned to the LOIP. And that's been touched on through the various presentations and indeed through Angela's opening remark. And that too must be evidence-based, and it must not just include data, but it must include the capturing of their views and the recording of same as we shape our services. The second part is to ensure that we continue to deliver efficient and effective services which must be sustainable. Penny pinching or chasing targets is never the best or the most effective and efficient way to do business. And we must be very conscious of that. Thirdly, ensuring the well-being of our staff, as I already alluded, is an absolute priority given the demands and challenges that they face. Sometimes saying or talking about well-being of staff and doing it are 2 different things. In my 30-odd years in the public sector, I've still await a letter from someone telling me what I'm going to stop doing. And I think it's just important as we move forward that we trust our staff, we empower them, and we encourage them with the innovation that we've heard so much about today. And I was greatly encouraged, and I know much of the COG were, when the inspectorate referred to a conversation they had in one of the focus groups when staff actually fed back. It was the first time that they'd ever heard it, the Care Inspectorate had ever heard it, of staff feeling that they were supported, included, and empowered to do their job. And that has to continue moving forward. And the final bit is ensuring that we enhance the strong partnership working at all levels. We heard in various presentations about that strategic, tactical and operational delivery. And it's not just, again, within the statutory partners. The third sector plays such an important part in that as well. And we need to ensure, and I think today's been a lesson from that, that in moving forward, there can be no silos across public protection. I know that we have heard about the drawing together of some of the adult and child protection work, but also the inputs in relation to violence against women, alcohol, drug partnership and homelessness show that we can't work in silos. And I think it's a real challenge to us moving forward as how we maximise the opportunities. Thank you. Angela, I'll hand over to yourself for next steps.
Thank you, Campbell, and thank you for those really thoughtful remarks, and for you as our independent chair echoing your appreciation and commendation of all public partners staff. I will embarrass you by saying we're equally appreciative of your support that you give us as our independent chair, and absolutely right to express our collective thanks to all colleagues for their input today, both those that delivered input, those who facilitated them, and all of our colleagues who joined. I'm still trying to work out if I've understood what Steve Rowd was explaining. Steve, I'm going to have to get a private tutorial, but thank you for attempting to explain dynamics in a straightforward way. And the same, Martin, I'm kind of scratching my head in the complexity of what you guys are trying to navigate us through. I hope today colleagues feel like we have celebrated the hard work of all colleagues, and it's right to focus that we've still got work ahead of us, but full of talent, and absolutely no doubt about the talent that we've got across ourselves as a partnership. It seems small to bring us down to having discussed what we have today to now into the immediate next steps. In terms of hygiene, we will definitely share all of the presentations, and hopefully maybe Steve Rowd and Martin speaker notes for those of us like myself that might need that extra tutorial. We'll certainly share all the slides with colleagues, and we have been videoing the sessions as well, so the hope is that we can upload those onto Aberdeen Protect's site. In advance of the event, Val circulated the analysis of the Aberdeen Protects website. We really want that to be a really useful platform for all colleagues. So again, we'd welcome your feedback on the platform. We will issue an evaluation survey from today, and again, we'll try and get that out quite quickly. Your feedback, not only just in terms of the usefulness of the event, but the focus and some of the programmes that we featured. I think that would be really, really helpful. So we'll get those out immediately. Clearly, though, we have a big work programme ahead of us, both in terms of what we're expressing through the integrated children's services, through the integrated IGB plan, what we're developing through the LOIP, and then in turn what we're developing in terms of the transition to National Care Service. And again, important that you are all informed, consulted and engaged in all of that work programme. And Campbell's absolutely right. We've only got a finite resource, and it's important that we take a measured approach. One of the things that I was struck the most when COG had a recent conversation was about the strength of the relationships and wanting to invest in those relationships and preserve those relationships, particularly in the run-up to and post a National Care Service as well. So opportunities like this to come together are important, and we mustn't see them as an add-on. They are important. Relationships, particularly in the arena of public protection, is really important. This is hard work that all of you are involved in, and so our relationships not only serve a business purpose, but they're also professionally supportive and personally supportive as well. So it's important that we don't view these kind of events as an add-on. But we'll look forward to your feedback, and in terms of your feedback, I think we'll attempt to do what you've said and how we're moving that forward. So again, that we're really transparent, and we'll use those jam boards, which was brilliant. Thank you, facilitators, for making that easy as well. We'll certainly play those jam boards back into COG, into the APC, the CPC, the Violence Against Women, the ADP. So you'll see all of that kind of come back into all of our structures, so we can then agree what it is that we're going to prioritise within all of that. But for now, can I just echo Campbell's thanks to all colleagues for all their input and for their attendance today. Hopefully the next time we come together, we're in person with the delicatessen of a rowie and a coffee as we have in Aberdeen. So look forward to having a real coffee and a real rowie with everybody. But for today, can I just close the session down by thanking you all and look forward to seeing you all in person soon. Thank you.